even a very long life, one life, will not give the person the time and prep time, money, funds, and everything else to be able to climb every single mountain on the planet. And that's just mountains that are above sea level. Can you imagine somebody who wants to experience climbing or exploring mountains under the sea? Say the first part?
You do say the first part.
What part?
What part? I wrote it for you.
Oh, you did? Welcome to Driving to the Rest. The planet scared wolves and woods.
The podcast for wisdom keepers and wisdom seekers. My writing's very clear. It's just shorthand and it's not very, cursive or whatever.
Yes, that's true.
So,
that's true.
Anyway, we're your hosts, Larry and Inelia.
We are.
This episode is Wisdom Keepers, Knowing versus Evidence. This is the free first part of our podcast. And this one was inspired by one of our Wisdom Keepers.
Panelists. Yeah.
Wisdom Keeper panelist from the Wisdom Keeper show. That's the second part of this show. So if you're intrigued by what you hear in this first part,
go to the second part, which is the Wisdom Keeper Hour.
The Wisdom Keeper Hour, where we have a panel full of Wisdom Keepers.
Mm-hmm. And Wisdom Seekers.
To challenge us on our
expansion of awareness.
Our awarenesses. Yes.
Yes.
Alrighty.
There's also a very, very cool part to the Wisdom Keeper Hour, which is a Friday.
Oh, yeah.
9 a.m. Pacific after party where you can join
the Wisdom Keepers.
The party. Yes. Yeah. And Seekers. Don't forget Seekers.
Right. We just call all of us who are Wisdom Keepers are insatiable Wisdom Seekers. So. Insatiable. Mm-hmm. All right. True. Let's give this episode a go. Wisdom Keepers.
Okay.
Knowing versus evidence. What you got here, honey? What you got for us?
I will read some of the article and then we can talk about it. What do you think?
Sounds good.
All right. Our Wisdom Keepers Driving to the Rest panelist, Fred, asked a fabulous question the other day. He said, and I quote.
This is a quote.
It is a quote. Would you like to read it?
Sure. Mine is a man's voice.
Yes, you have a man's voice.
Why do some people have experience or internal knowing that provides unshakable belief in the woo? Woo being, while others hear, read, and discuss the same topics but remain forever skeptical, needing to gather more evidence but forever believing woo isn't really real. Woo is any subject that we discuss that is outside of mainstream belief.
I thought that was a really well put question because not only does he give the aspects of the question, but then he defines
his terms.
Words. Yeah, he defines his words, right? His terms.
Right.
So to me, that's pretty clear. Did you want to add anything to your understanding of the question?
Well, my experience of that question is that there seems to be, and I think this is what we generally speak it in our group as like waking people up. Mm-hmm. I think that's what you call it. You're like waking people up, and we generally use the tactic of, here, I'll give you all this evidence. There's a ton of it. It's guaranteed. It's all science and it's all peer reviewed and it's all
I've investigated
thoroughly, and I've truthed it. And I mean, every bit of evidence you could possibly gather from all of the sources you could possibly gather them. And here you go. So can you wake up now?
That is true.
And yeah, it doesn't seem, generally speaking, that's enough. Oftentimes that's, I mean, we can look at it the other way, right? You can look at, there's no big pile of evidence, practically speaking, that's going to prove to me that
Sasquatch exists?
No, that why?
Fairies exist? No?
Let's say
cook?
Trying to think of a good day. I don't want to challenge people to wake me up backwards. You know what I'm saying?
Put you to sleep.
Yeah, put me to sleep. Oh, okay, here.
Okay.
So, for instance, there
Okay.
could be plenty of evidence that drinking a glass of wine or 5
A day
or
is good for your
beer,
health.
etc. Basically, drinking alcohol every day is good for your health.
Right. Right.
That
Oh yeah, they've put on a lot of evidence to support that. I've seen it, and people who refuse to stop drinking alcohol always send it to me.
yes,
They do.
it's a good affirmation for the worldview that they have, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it may or may not be wrong, but how about we just err on the side of it's probably right, so a few drinks ain't gonna hurt me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not good.
Right, because our knowing and our experience with it is completely the opposite, and we can find you a 7 million evidences that suggest that it's probably a bad plan.
Yeah.
But neither one of our evidences is really enough, right, to shake us out of the reality that we're like experiencing, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Has anyone shown up to your whatevers and given you, hey, this is the XYZ and here's why, about something that you feel like you really know?
Me?
And had it change your mind about a thing?
Yeah.
It has happened, but it's usually self-sought, right? Wisdom seeking. You're seeking that wisdom in some form. It's not like you're walking along and somebody says, holds up the sign, Biden's a war criminal or Trump's a war criminal, and then you looked at it and you're like, oh, you're right.
Well,
Or is
my
it?
experience was actually kind of like that, but it wasn't the full gamut of information that I needed.
Yeah,
So
go do
within a
something.
very small parameter of interaction, it was correct, but it didn't take into account many other things. So this was the situation that happened, right?
Okay, yeah, give us a for instance.
I was about 18. Yes, I was 18. And I wanted a kitten.
Okay.
So I went to adopt a kitten at the Cat Society in England, right? The animal, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the ASPCA. Animal Society,
Prevention of cruelty of animals.
Of animals, yeah,
Like that.
something like that. I went to their formal headquarters to get me a kitten. And then the lady was showing me the different cats, and there was a one with it was a mama with a baby kitten. And she said, once you get them home, she said the mom hasn't been fixed. You need to fix her once the kitten weans, because it was a tiny baby kitten. We can't really, we're not going to endanger the possibility that she won't recover from the surgery and then end up with a baby kitten that's not even crawling yet, right? He will die. So if you're going to adopt them, you don't?
Uh-oh.
So they showed me a mama kitten.
Yes.
With a baby kitten.
Okay.
And they told me that they hadn't operated her yet to have no more kittens, because they might, if she died, because that can happen, they would end up with a tiny little baby kitten.
Get it now.
That even his eyes were closed and everything.
Okay.
And I looked at her and I said, well, I'm not going to get her fixed, you know? It's like, that seems cruel to me to get rid of her baby making capacities, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, then you can't have her, because you have to sign a contract that you will operate her, right? So she can't have any more babies, and the boy too when he grows up. And I said, no, because that's horrible. That's not natural. It's like, why would you do that? I mean, yeah, I understand the boys, it makes smells and stuff, but it's like, my God. So she said, well, let me show you a chart. She said, this is what we face here every single day. This is what happens when you don't operate a female cat. And she showed me a chart where there was one cat, she had 10 kittens, And the 10 kittens, let's say 5 were girls, right? And they had like already 100 kittens. And then the boys had 1,000 kittens. And then by the 3rd generation, there were so many kittens, right? So there's not enough homes for all these kittens, she said. So we have to do this. They end up here and we have to kill them.
But that's an absurd argument.
If nobody adopts them, then they get killed. Is that what you want? I was 18.
Okay.
And I like, oh my God, I never realized this was happening. And then I was convinced by that argument that I was wrong about thinking that all those operations were bad for the cat. And actually, the larger viewpoint was the right one, in that I was saving the lives or the quality of life for millions of kittens, billions of kittens later on.
Find them not existing.
Yeah.
Which is a funny argument.
Well, it's an argument that I resonated with.
Yes, I hear you.
So, anyways, that was the example. I came in very well knowing what I knew to be right. And within half an hour,
you were convinced otherwise.
Yes, I was convinced of the opposite. But I think that's the only time. And then, of course, now I know there's more to it, like the age that the kittens, if you don't want to get dealing with kittens, that's fine. That's your decision, right? But the age that you have them operated on affects their health for the rest of their lives, both male and female. If you have a male kitten and you don't want your male kitten to spray pee all over your house, then you're going to have him fixed. But it's like the age at which you do it will either create or not create certain medical conditions.
Yeah, it might have other consequences, but I mean, here's the choice: stinky pee all over your house, or a cat who's pleasant to get along with.
Yeah.
And we're making a choice, and the cat's making a choice to be a pet or not be a pet.
Right.
If it was a wild cat in the woods and it needs that pee to mark its territory to keep other cats away, so
that's very different.
Yeah, that's a whole different experience of cat.
Yeah.
But living with a male cat who's got spray everywhere,
oh my gosh, that's
gonna be a challenge. I mean, your nose will probably adjust to it, but everybody else will think you smell like a cat pee.
Yeah, and you will.
And you will. You'll be owned by a cat.
Yes. Yes, and your house will stink of it. But you won't be able to smell it.
Yeah. And, when you have a female cat and you get it fixed, or you don't get it fixed, it's you, the owner, who's determining whether or not the cat gets out and has kittens.
Right.
And let's just say the cat does get out and have kittens. Mm-hmm. You got the kittens now.
Yeah.
It's not like they're rando kittens that are just running away free. Kittens, right? Take care of them and you find good houses for them. And
then they have kittens.
They may or they may not.
Exactly.
But it's not like that started this chain reaction to overpopulate the planet with kittens.
Yeah.
That is a different problem.
Mm-hmm. Overpopulation, man, of the planet.
That's a different
It's problem. A genocidal type equation, isn't it?
Yes, we'll solve the overpopulation problem by not letting the population breed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, there's a slippery slope there.
Yeah.
Pretty soon you've already done we call it pre-murder.
Yeah. Pre-murder.
Pre-murder. Pre-genocide. Anyway, off topic.
But
hugely off topic, but it is like data. So we got these firmly held beliefs that we call knowings, and in some ways, well evidenced whatevers. But when we start digging at them, we start to, scratch at the nature of our own reality, which isn't exactly as we perceive it all the time. And when we start doing that, these very important one or the others start to fade.
At this point, though, you mentioned knowing and belief, and I'd like to distinguish between the two.
Okay.
The question talked about belief.
Yep.
And I was very accurate. Knowing and beliefs are very different things. Okay? Because you also talked about knowing. And it's a key component between so let's say, for example, at 18 years old, I knew that there were certain consequences to having the cat, quote, fixed, unquote.
Yes.
And then my decision wouldn't have been so black and white.
Right.
Because I went from one belief to another belief. without any knowing behind it. So beliefs can't be swapped and changed and moved around.
Malleable.
They're very malleable. But knowing is a very different thing. When you know something inside of you, like, is not going to be shifted, right? And a lot of things, people will actually tell you that I believe in God, I believe in this, I believe that's true, right? They actually use their right words. And when you're listening to a person and their argument, you can often immediately know where they stand in regards to their own construct of reality.
Right.
Okay, let's continue.
Okay.
As per usual, I see a very simple reason for this.
For the difference between
somebody who knows what is true and somebody who, no matter what the evidence is, they can't believe in it.
Yeah, okay.
But knowing my co-host Larry, hi Larry, and our wisdom keeper panelists, I'm going to do my best to explore this topic in a more comprehensive way.
Yes, because it's on the one hand satisfying to get the answer in, one sentence or so. On the other hand, it's satisfying to talk about it in like half an hour or an hour. And like let's really, dig into it.
Yeah.
You have a habit of just saying yes. No, that's not right.
Well, when I'm given question that's yes, no answer, I will give a yes or no answer.
I know. We're familiar with it.
But now people are figuring it out, giving me questions that cannot be given. An answer cannot be given as a yes or no, right?
Right.
This exploration falls within the confines of understanding how the universe works, which is a topic I promised to explore during 2025 in my last article, which you can find at inelia.substack.com. And it's called, This is Why I Find You Interesting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I would check out that article because it'll give you a good idea of what's coming from me during 2025. Okay, let's begin with a simple exploration of this Fred's question.
Yes.
The reason is that each person is guided by their own internal compass that dictates their chosen experience for their lifetimes. Do you want to explore that?
Yeah, see, that was like that question or that answer has all of it in one little thing, but there's a lot in that one thing.
Yes.
Lifetimes.
Yes.
Internal compasses dictating their chosen experiences. Let's just keep going.
Okay. This guiding system will allow them to expand their senses or shrink them to facilitate that chosen experience.
Right. So the chosen experience rules the evidence or the belief or the knowings or whatever that
Even
the person brings on board is the chosen experience they've come here to have.
Mm-hmm. In certain parameters of reality, what we might call woo, do not fit into their chosen experience, then they are forever skeptical no matter how much evidence or experience they find or is given to them to show them the other side of the matrix.
Yeah, that reminds me of like UFOs that we call UAPs, that we call drones, that we call like what level of experiencers credentials is enough to convince you? It's like none. Only direct experience, and then even then we've read plenty enough of it where someone is a direct experiencing sitting here in the couch and then right next to it everyone in every car and all the way around and in the car with you is like, no, didn't say a thing. Not a thing. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Or they just don't remember it even.
Right.
Yeah. So the chosen experience is the trump card, so to speak.
If, however, their chosen reality includes woo parameters, they will see the larger matrix as clear as day, knowing it exists and needing as much evidence as one needs to prove breathing in and out is necessary to stay alive. In other words, not needing any evidence at all, as one does not need evidence to breathe in and out. One just does it and stays alive.
Yeah. It's like, prove you have to. Okay, well, just hold your breath. Tell me how that lasts.
Yes. So that was the simple explanation. Did you get anything from that?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense that the experience you've chosen dictates the evidence that you accept.
Yeah.
And the need for evidence even. I
wanted to add a little bit here. It's a very small little ad. In my short explanation, I talked about their chosen experiences in their lifetimes,
Right.
not just this lifetime.
Right.
And the reason why I worded it that way is because one of the aspects of chosen experience that I've noticed is that it doesn't just come in this lifetime. People from my experience have made chosen life experiences that can last 10,000 years, many, many lifetimes, like multiple lifetimes for one chosen experience. So their life, let's say, plan is not just one lifetime long. It can include dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of lives. And it could be, it's not complicated. It could be like, I want to experience what it's like to climb mountains. I really want to know how to experience what that feels like. And they can spend 10,000 years exploring each and every rock and mountain on the planet. And they need lots of lifetimes because they want to experience them without ropes. And they keep dying very young.
Oh, geez.
Right? So, or not, that's just a silly example, but, they might live to very old age. However, even a very long life, one life, will not give the person the time and prep time, money, funds, and everything else to be able to climb every single mountain on the planet. And that's just mountains that are above sea level. Can you imagine somebody who wants to experience climbing or exploring mountains under the sea?
That's still coming.
Yeah. All right. So that's why that particular person, let's say, planned maybe 1,100 lives that he or she could have to explore every aspect of mountain climbing that could be possibly explored. So
Probably
I
including
interject that because it's very and for example, that person would be very, very distracted if during one of their climbs they see a Sasquatch on the mountain. So they will be busy climbing, they look over, see a Sasquatch, look back at the rock, go, wait, what? They look back and it's gone. Says, oh my God, I must be hallucinating. Maybe I'm low in oxygen.
Yeah, there's a mountain climbing reason.
Yeah. And they'll continue, right? And they might read things about Sasquatch and like, nah. It's what's it called? One of these things.
Illusion.
And disillusion from lack of oxygen, I was very tired.
On the other hand, they might spend one of their lifetimes chasing Sasquatches up and down the mountains to get that body in good shape for it.
But that's a different reality construct.
Right?
That's the person who knows that Sasquatch exists or will have would have set up a life where they became knowledgeable of it. So the example I'm giving is the person who decided to explore every mountain, become, very, very good at mountain climbing and explore every mountain on Earth. That person, doesn't matter that they saw Sasquatch in person, they will discard the evidence because it doesn't fit into their life plan, which means they might be distracted and go and do something else. And then in the being between lies, oh my gosh, I wasted a whole lifetime of mountain climbing.
I just gotta interject. I'm sorry. That's probably the wrong analogy because Sasquatches are good for mountain climbing. It'd be like if they saw a UFO.
We're talking about woo.
If they saw a UFO, they would ignore that because you don't go chasing UFOs up mountains. But you can definitely chase a Sasquatch up the mountains. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Let's say it wasn't a Sasquatch, so let's say it was a UFO.
Then I can see you rejecting that reality because it doesn't line up with your choice of experience over these lifetimes is mountains.
How about a fairy?
No.
No.
Fairies, you don't chase fairies up mountains. They go up waterfalls, don't they?
Fairies?
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Oh, that's not.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Fairies aren't going to work for mountain climbing.
Okay.
No, not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Sasquatch, though, will definitely work for mountain climbing. Like one of our friends, Todd. He spends all his time climbing these damn mountains.
But that's not his
Straight up
reason.
the walls. Yeah, but if he
His
came
reason,
here to have a mountain climbing experience, he's definitely getting it.
yeah, but he didn't. He came here to have a Sasquatch experience. So.
It may be
And God
true.
knows how many lifetimes of Sasquatch, including being a Sasquatch. You know.
Yes. Okay.
All right. I will now explore the more comprehensive reason for this phenomenon.
Okay. Which means the long answer.
The long answer. Are you ready for the long answer, honey?
Okay, sure.
Shall I just go for it?
Get it
All of
going.
it?
Just get it
All of it?
going. I'll probably
Stop
interrupt
me if you
you.
want to.
Thank
Okay.
you.
To start, I will remind us that the phenomenon I'm exploring is why some people don't need evidence of a woo, while others don't believe in it no matter how much evidence they have. My first reaction to this question is always, what does it matter what others want to believe and what they don't want to believe? And I want to explain why I have that reaction. Basically, I do not judge what other people choose as their experience. As I walk the surface of Earth, I see millions of people who are themselves the center of their personal universe. Literally, they are not part of another person's universe or a larger universe. They're literally the center of their own universe. Within that universe, there are millions of decisions they have taken throughout their existence as a singular point of view, all of them coming to a point that marks the present moment. How can I possibly judge all that? I can't. Outside of that infinite path of decisions, other universes move in and out of their awareness as a larger orchestration unfolds to fulfill all of their choices, both the person's own multiple choices and the multiple choices of the people around them. From this perspective, what I find interesting is not so much that a person might choose to disbelieve evidence of woo, but that they have woo to disbelieve in their awareness at all.
That's a good thing.
What this indicates to me is that they are on the edge of a personal split in awareness. Some of them might be fighting tooth and nail with themselves to stay in the solely materialistic reality they chose to integrate through this lifetime. Others are pushing open the door to a larger personal universe that will include a broader understanding of matrices and co-created reality. So here I want to put in a little bit of something here. So the question that Fred put forward was of the people who were actively looking for evidence, but they still couldn't believe it. So the person who's climbing the mountain and sees a UFO, they're not actively looking for evidence of UFO. It just happened to be there when they were there. And then it's like, so they just disregarded it instantly, dismissed it instantly, right? Okay, whether one of these individuals is pushing the door open or struggling to keep it closed, the result is the same. The awareness is peeking into the other side of the door and is expanding. We're all at different. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing to like think about. That they're dismissing it means it's there in their awareness to dismiss.
Yeah. But these are people who are actively looking for evidence and dismissing it all, not the one person who had one off thing and then, probably dismissed, probably actually forgot it ever happened. Right? It is curious. It is a. Okay, so yeah. We are at different states of awareness explored in this equation. Even if we have a firm knowing that we exist, we still have a billion iterations of reality to explore and expand into. Do you understand what that means? Yeah.
Kinda.
It is a curious thing that we came from being all that there is, knowing all that there is, to becoming extremely limited in awareness, and then do our best to go back to being all knowing again.
It is quite hilarious.
I'm looking forward to hearing your input in the Wisdom Keeper Hour of Driving to the Rest. Subscribe at drivingtotherest.com and join the after party this Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific.
Indeed.
I just wanted to add that there because I know Larry's about to ask some questions that will probably go. Over to you, honey.
Can I have it again? Because I already have a brain explosion happening.
Maybe we can do the discussion later on then. What do you think?
one thing.
Okay.
Curious thing that we came from being all that there is, knowing all that there is, to becoming extremely limited in awareness, and then do our best to go back to being all knowing again, which seems again like where we started, which was the wake up part.
Mm-hmm.
So we were awake and we
Mhm.
went to sleep, and now we're trying to wake back up, which
It's curious.
it's a curious thing, but at the same time, we go to sleep every night and we wake
Yes.
up every morning.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't any different, except for our period of sleep was maybe 10,000 years or lifetimes, and now we're waking back up from
Well, I
that
don't know. I see it
immersion.
slightly different, actually. I see it a little bit. Yeah, I think the last word you use, immersion, is closer to what I see it as.
Right. We needed to get to a little bit of sleep in order to immerse ourselves in this chosen experience.
Yeah, that's more
And
closer to what I see.
this experience is a broad one, and there's narrower ones within the broad one. There's like a band of experience that can be had within the container that we're experiencing within, and this container requires a certain amount of slumber.
Yes.
And then to extricate yourself from that, to have a different experience again, you have to, well, to some degree, wake up from that slumber.
Yes.
Because when you're slumbering, you can do it. And when you're not slumbering, you can't. You just can't do it. You're just like, no, I'm not doing that.
I mean, the dark.
Like fear is going to rule my life. And then when you wake up a little late, you realize, oh, wait a minute. That's an illusion. Okay. And I can't even take that into the place that I want to be. So no, I'm not going to use fear to decide these things. It's like, that just doesn't work. It doesn't work from the woke up spot. From the sleepy spot, you better damn well be afraid of that thing, because that thing's going to bite you, chase you, hurt you, eat you, burn you, slice you, shoot you.
All the things.
All the things. Yeah. But at a certain state of awareness, those things no longer do that.
Right.
Although I'm sure people can produce evidence to suggest otherwise. You know what I mean? It's like, I wasn't afraid and I got shot anyway. Like,
are you still alive?
Right. Yeah. I think that'll be an interesting thing to explore with our panel of wisdom keepers.
Yes.
Professionals in their field and mystics, all of them.
Yes. See you on the Wisdom Keeper Hour. That starts now.
Hold on.
Oh, hold on.
Ready?
Welcome, everyone, to the Wisdom Keeper Hour, the second half of Drive Into the Res. Hi, Larry. Hi, Inelia.
Hi there.
Hi.
And we're joined with our panelists today. I'm Ashley Swale, CEO of iBenz Academy, iBenz Method Mentor, Corporate HR Leader, Mystic, and Yoga Teacher.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Kara Consigli, iBenz Method Mentor, Entrepreneur, Gamer, and Mystic.
I am Fred Guerin, engineer, pilot, dancer, past life regressionist, and student of the occult.
Hi, I'm Ileana Rojero, mystic, mentor, psychic meditation teacher, and architect. Also founder of El Método iBenz, making sure I'm not saying it in English. The official channel of Inelia's work in Spanish.
Brilliant. Welcome, panelists. So this article was started by a question from one of our panelists, Fred. So Fred, I think it's only appropriate that maybe you can help give some context to your question.
Sure. So what I was thinking where this came from, I was listening to a podcast, and I was thinking how this one podcaster, he interviews people over the woo over and over and over. And he's had his own experiences taking psychotropic drugs. And but he always seems to be, it's always, do we believe in this stuff? I mean, that's what his podcast is all about. I mean, and after it's unnerving. It's after a while, it's like, yes. It's like, why do you keep asking the questions? Is it real? Why do you have to ask it over and over and over? You've had your own experiences, while other people have I've had my own experiences, and I believe. Let's move on. Let's talk about the woo, like how we can use it or get better at it, but not just keep asking, yourself, like, is it real? It's like, so yeah, that's where the question came from.
Join us for the rest of this conversation at driveintotheres.com.
And when you go to driveintotheres.com and you join in the rest of the show, rest of the second hour, you also get to join in the after party. 9 o'clock on Fridays, we all get together, including you.